You believe you are in control of your life. That belief alone is comforting. Dangerous too. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. If a single comment, a delayed message, a small failure, or someone else's opinion can change your mood for the entire day, are you actually in control, or are you just reacting fast enough to feel powerful? Most people never question this. They call it being human. They call it stress. They call it personality. But beneath all those labels is a simpler truth. Their inner state is fragile, easily moved, easily hijacked, and fragility always pretends to be normal. You wake up, scroll, rush, respond. You speak before thinking. You defend yourself even when no real threat exists. You explain when silence would have been enough. You feel busy, but not deliberate. Active, but not directed. You tell yourself this is life. It isn't. It's conditioning. From a distance, your days look full, but look closer and you'll see something else. Most of your energy is spent reacting to things that do not matter. Conversations you replay in your head, imaginary arguments you never win, small frustrations that linger longer than they should. None of this feels dramatic. That's the problem. Slow erosion never does. You don't feel enslaved because there are no chains. There is just habit, automatic response, emotional reflex, and reflex feels like choice until you examine it. Here is the part most people avoid. If you were truly grounded, truly disciplined, truly sovereign over your mind, your life would look different by now. Not perfect, but different. There would be fewer explanations, fewer emotional spikes, fewer days lost to noise. Instead, there is a quiet contradiction. You admire strength, but your inner world reacts faster than you can restrain it. You value calm, yet your peace depends on circumstances behaving the way you want. That is not calm, that is negotiation. And a negotiation means you are not in charge. The ancient Stoics understood something modern people avoid admitting. Freedom is not about doing what you want. It is about not being compelled by emotion, by impulse, by other people's behavior. They didn't ask, "How do I feel?" They asked, "What is required of me?" That difference alone separates discipline from drift. If this feels personal, good, it should. This is not a speech meant to inspire you. It's meant to interrupt you, because the most dangerous state a man can be in is not chaos, it's comfortable unconsciousness, going through life believing you are choosing, when in reality you are responding to whatever pulls hardest. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more information. You don't even need peace. You need command. Command over your reactions. Command over your attention. Command over the small moments where most men quietly give themselves away. Until that happens, every insult will feel heavier than it is. Every setback will feel personal. Every challenge will feel like resistance instead of training. This is where the work actually begins, not with positivity, not with detachment, but with the willingness to see yourself clearly, without excuses, without comfort, without mythology. If you can stay here, listening without rushing to agree or disagree, you're already doing something rare. You're not reacting, and that alone tells me this might be for you. The illusion of control, reacting versus responding. Most men think they are choosing their actions. In reality, they are triggered into them. A message arrives, a tone shifts, a look lingers too long, and before you even notice it happening, something inside you tightens. Your jaw sets, your chest contracts, your thoughts rush forward to defend, explain, attack, or withdraw. You call this instinct. The Stoics called it slavery, because anything that can pull a reaction out of you without your permission is in control of you. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Reacting feels powerful. It gives the illusion of control. You speak fast, you respond immediately, you feel involved, but speed is not authority, urgency is not strength. Reaction is always borrowed energy, response is owned. When you react, you are moving away from yourself. You are letting the external world dictate your internal state. Someone else presses a button, and you move. Again and again, This is why so many people feel exhausted without doing anything meaningful. Their energy isn't spent building, it's spent defending an identity that feels constantly under threat. The Stoics drew a sharp line here. Between what happens and what you do about it, there is a space. Most people never enter that space. They leap over it automatically. But that space is where power lives. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself, not the world, that you don't have to turn every impression into a belief. You don't have to treat every emotion as a command. Just because something appears urgent does not mean it is important. Yet modern life trains you to react. Notifications reward immediacy. Arguments reward volume. Outrage rewards attention. Stillness, on the other hand, is invisible, and because it isn't praised, most men never cultivate it. Think about the last time you regretted something you said. It wasn't because you lacked intelligence. It wasn't because you didn't know better. It was because you spoke before you chose. Reaction always skips choice. Responding is slower. It requires restraint. And restraint feels uncomfortable to the ego because it removes the drama that makes you feel alive. But drama is not aliveness, it's noise. A responding man does not suppress emotion. He witnesses it. He lets the surge pass without letting it decide his behavior. He understands that the first impulse is rarely the wisest one. This is why reacting feels natural and responding feels trained. Nature gives you impulse. Discipline gives you freedom. Epictetus made this painfully clear. It's not the event that disturbs you, it's the judgment you attach to it. And judgments happen fast, so fast you mistake them for truth. He disrespected me. This shouldn't be happening. I can't let this go. These are not facts. They are interpretations, and every interpretation carries an emotional cost. When you respond instead of react, you are not being passive. You are being precise. You are deciding which battles deserve your energy and which ones are beneath it. This is what emotional control actually looks like. Not coldness, not detachment, but selectivity. A man who reacts to everything reveals that everything can reach him. A man who responds selectively reveals boundaries. And boundaries are not walls, they are filters. The goal is not to feel less. The goal is to be ruled by less. Because the moment you stop reacting automatically, something shifts. You feel space, distance, clarity, and in that space, you realize how much of your life has been shaped by impulses you never questioned. This section isn't here to shame you. It's here to expose the mechanism. Once you see the difference between reacting and responding, you can't unsee it. Every emotional surge becomes a test. Every trigger becomes an invitation, not to explode, not to suppress, but to choose, and choice is the beginning of control. The Stoic toolkit for response. Now that you understand the space between stimulus and response, the question becomes, how do you actually occupy it? How do you stop being pulled by impulses and start directing your own mind? The Stoics left us a toolkit, practical, ruthless, and entirely modern in application if you know how to use it. 1. Self-awareness as a muscle. Awareness isn't passive, it's active. Every moment you notice a feeling arise, anger, fear, impatience, you are flexing the mental muscle of observation. Marcus Aurelius spent entire evenings examining his thoughts. What did I do today? Did I act with purpose or distraction? Begin your own practice. Pause several times a day. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Why? Does this demand a reaction or a response? Noticing is not judging, it's mapping the terrain before deciding the path. 2. The pause. Once you are aware of an impulse, create a pause. Even 2 seconds changes everything. Those 2 seconds allow your rational mind to speak, not just the animal within you. In practice, this could mean taking a deep breath before replying to a text that makes your blood boil, or stepping away from a tense conversation to regain composure. That pause is a shield. It turns a knee-jerk reaction into an intentional choice. 3. Reframing perspective. The Stoics constantly reminded themselves that perception shapes reality. What feels like a catastrophe may be a test. an opportunity, or even a minor inconvenience blown out of proportion. When confronted with a challenge, ask yourself, what if I were seeing this through the eyes of a calm observer? What lesson is here? How can I act virtuously in this moment? Reframing reduces the emotional charge and opens a rational path forward. 4. Focus on what you can control. Epictetus' principle is clear. Separate the controllable from the uncontrollable. You cannot dictate other people's behavior, the traffic jam or the economy, but you can control your effort, your words, your perspective. Consciously direct your energy toward actions within your power. This is the cornerstone of responding rather than reacting. By acting on what you control and releasing the rest, you reclaim power that most men waste chasing the uncontrollable. 5. Emotional acknowledgement without submission. The Stoics did not deny emotions, they studied them. Emotions are signals, not instructions. When you feel frustration, recognize it. This is frustration. It is passing. It does not have to dictate my behavior. Acknowledgement removes the charge. Submission gives it power. Choose acknowledgement. Choose mastery. 6. Daily reflection. Every evening, review your actions. Where did you respond with clarity? Where did you react unconsciously? Journaling is not for entertainment, it's for recalibration. This feedback loop gradually trains the mind to favor response over reaction, like repeated gym sessions for the brain. 7. Anchoring in virtue. Finally, the Stoics centered every decision around virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Every response should reflect your core values, not your ego, not your fear, not your pride. When faced with provocation, ask, what would my higher self do? What reflects strength and reason, not impulse? The answer becomes your guide. By consistently applying these tools, you transform your mind from a reactive machine into a deliberate instrument. You do not simply survive life, you navigate it with intention, calm, and authority. A man trained in this way does not chase validation. He does not fall into drama. He speaks when it matters, pauses when it matters, and acts with precision when it matters. This is the Stoic power. It's quiet, invisible, and undeniable. Practical mindfulness and daily routines. Understanding Stoic principles and having a toolkit is one thing, but mastery comes through consistent practice. Without deliberate daily habits, awareness and control remain theoretical. This section translates philosophy into action, giving you a roadmap to live Stoicism every day. 1. Morning reflection. Setting the tone. The day begins before the world touches you. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius started each morning with introspection. What challenges will I face today? How can I respond with virtue? You can do the same. Spend 5 minutes each morning reviewing potential triggers. Anticipate difficulties, difficult colleagues, traffic, deadlines, and rehearse calm, purposeful responses. This mental rehearsal doesn't remove challenges, it prepares your mind to navigate them without losing composure. 2. Mindful observation. Anchoring in the present. Throughout the day, cultivate awareness by observing your own mental state. Are you thinking reactively? Are your emotions hijacking your focus? Mindful observation is about noticing without judgment. A simple practice. During routine tasks, eating, walking, or commuting, fully immerse yourself in the experience. Notice the details. Feel your body. Track your breathing. This trains your attention muscle, strengthening your ability to pause before reacting when stress arises. 3. Breath as a reset tool. Breathing is underrated but powerful. Deep, intentional breaths signal the body to relax, giving the rational mind room to act. When confronted with frustration, anxiety, or anger, pause for 3 slow breaths. Each inhale fills you with awareness. Each exhale releases tension. Over time, this becomes an automatic reset button, grounding you in response rather than reaction. 4. Journaling. The evening audits. Stoics were relentless in their self-examination. At night, Marcus Aurelius would review his day, assessing moments of virtue and lapses of impulsivity. Adopt a similar practice. Write down moments where you reacted versus responded. Ask, what did I do well? Where did I lose control? What can I improve tomorrow? Reflection solidifies learning and makes intentional action habitual rather than accidental. 5. Micro-pauses. Building mental reflexes. You don't need a quiet retreat to practice Stoicism. Insert small pauses into daily interactions, before answering a difficult email, before reacting to a provocation, or even before making a significant decision. Even a 2-second pause can redirect your response from emotional to rational. Over time, these micro-pauses become instinctive. Your mind learns to scan situations, assess emotional triggers, and choose a deliberate action. Reactivity diminishes naturally. 6. Reframing and perspective shifts. Daily life will throw countless minor irritations your way. The Stoics taught that perception shapes reality. When frustrated, pause and ask, is this truly a threat, or is it a test of my patience and self-control? Can I view this differently to act wisely rather than impulsively? Shifting your narrative reduces emotional charge and empowers measured responses. 7. Anchoring in core values throughout every day. Remind yourself of your personal principles: honesty, integrity, courage, compassion. Before acting or speaking, ask, does this align with who I aspire to be? Does it reflect virtue or ego? Values act as a compass. Even in high-pressure moments, anchoring in these principles ensures your responses are deliberate, consistent, and honorable. 8. Consistency over perfection. No one becomes a master overnight. The goal is steady improvement. A single impulsive reaction doesn't erase progress, but failing to reflect or practice does. Stoicism is not about perfection. It's about discipline, repetition, and resilience. 9. Integration into life. The ultimate goal: make these routines habitual. Morning reflection, mindful observation, breath resets, journaling, and values checks should become the scaffolding of your day. As these habits strengthen, responding thoughtfully becomes natural, even in chaotic situations. By embedding mindfulness and deliberate action into daily life, you cultivate an inner fortress of calm, clarity, and purpose. Life's storms may rage, but your mind remains anchored, your responses deliberate, and your impact profound. Transformation and conclusion. By now you've explored the full spectrum of Stoic guidance, from recognizing the difference between reacting and responding, to cultivating self-awareness, mastering your thoughts, and embedding mindful routines into daily life. But knowledge alone isn't transformation. True change is forged in consistent action, reflection, and the persistent pursuit of virtue. 1. The power of daily transformation. Stoicism is not a philosophy for the classroom, it's a philosophy for life. Every thought you pause, every breath you take before reacting, every reflection in your journal becomes a brick in the foundation of your character. These small, repeated choices compound. Day by day, your mind grows more disciplined, your presence more composed, and your responses more aligned with reason rather than impulse. 2. Internal strength over external circumstances. Life will never be free of challenges. People will disappoint you. Plans will falter. Chaos will arise. But what Stoicism teaches is radical freedom. Your power lies not in controlling events, but in controlling yourself. By anchoring in reason, responding instead of reacting, and acting according to virtue, external circumstances no longer dictate your peace of mind. You become the steady center in a storm-tossed world. 3. The ripple effect on relationships. Thoughtful responses don't just elevate your inner life, they transform your interactions. When you act with composure, empathy, and integrity, you inspire respect and trust. Arguments are diffused, conflicts are navigated constructively, and your presence becomes a stabilizing force. The calm and clarity you cultivate internally radiates outward, influencing colleagues, friends, and family. In essence, Stoic mastery is both personal and relational. It reshapes not just your life, but the lives around you. 4. Building a legacy of presence. Every decision, Every word spoken with intention, every pause before action, contributes to the legacy of your character. Unlike fleeting achievements or external accolades, the discipline of response leaves a lasting mark. People may forget what you said or did, but they remember how you carried yourself, your steadiness, your calm, your integrity. This is the quiet power of a Stoic life: influence without noise, authority without aggression, presence without performance. 5. Embracing continuous growth. Transformation is not a destination, it's a lifelong journey. Even the most disciplined Stoics struggled with lapses and setbacks. The key is resilience, to acknowledge mistakes without judgment, extract lessons, and return to practice. By committing to this path, you cultivate not only wisdom but humility, patience, and perseverance. Your mind becomes a well-trained ally rather than a chaotic master. 6. Actionable takeaways to integrate this philosophy. Pause before reacting, even in small moments. Observe your thoughts and emotions with awareness. Reframe challenges as opportunities for growth. Focus energy only on what's within your control. Anchor every action in your core values. Reflect daily on successes and lapses, reinforcing growth. By embedding these habits, you are not merely surviving life, you are actively shaping it. You are choosing clarity over chaos, intention over impulse, reason over reaction. Each choice becomes a declaration of your autonomy, your discipline, and your commitment to living well. 7. Final reflection. Imagine the man you could become if every day you acted with awareness, responded with wisdom, and grounded your life in virtue. Life's storms will still arrive, but they will no longer unseat you. Your mind becomes your fortress, your presence your statement, and your responses your legacy. This is Stoicism in action, a philosophy not of escape, but of mastery. A life not dictated by circumstances, but guided by reason. A journey where every challenge becomes an opportunity, every reaction transforms into response, and every day a practice in building your best self. So take a breath, observe your thoughts, choose your actions. Let the world test you, but never define you. Begin today. Begin now. Your mind, your character, and your life are waiting to be forged in the quiet, deliberate power of Stoic discipline. Now it's your turn. Pause, observe, respond. Don't let the world dictate your reactions. Let your mind lead the way. Take one moment today to act with intention, guided by your values, not impulses. And if you're ready to deepen this practice, explore the next video on our channel, where we uncover the Stoic tools to master your emotions and reclaim your inner calm. Your journey to thoughtful, powerful living starts now. Step forward with purpose.